Hi, my name's Lori Grow. I'm co-owner at Shoreside Therapies. Today we have Calvin Henson with us, and we just want to get to know you a little bit better today, Calvin. So thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Lori. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so first question is, who do you help? Who's your ideal client?
Yeah, so in general, I'm really interested in working with anyone who wants to better themselves. So someone who is interested in seeing what the world has to offer, and then just kind of wanting to better themselves in the sense that they're willing to put in some work and
Mhm.
show up and do what it takes to make some improvements in their life.
So someone that's open for change and
Mhm.
improvement and maybe just having these goals of what they want their life to be. So kind of broad, right? Which is great. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it could be really a lot of different populations. So I'm really comfortable working with young adults. So that could be
Yeah.
people who are in college, people who are recent high school graduates,
Mhm.
anyone who struggles with anxiety or depression, maybe issues in their relationships, things like that. It's kind of my ideal population.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, now is the time too. If you just graduated from high school or you're a college student or just graduated from college, you
Hmm.
got that summer to make all those improvements or just focusing on yourself a bit more. I know with school, that tends to always be that high focus, right? Of I got this paper, I have to do this, I have to do that. And then summer comes and then it's kind of quiet for a minute. And so that is definitely a good time to seek, treatment or therapy, depending on your needs.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
way to look at it. I think that the summer is a really good opportunity for a lot of young adults,
Mhm.
people like that.
Yeah. All right. So, what's your general approach to helping?
Yeah, so in general, I want to offer a safe space for my patients. So, a place where they can come in and feel comfortable sharing about themselves, in a space where they aren't going to worry about being judged or anything like that. And a space where they can also receive some feedback from me as a therapist. So, I'm really big on kind of meeting people where they're at. So, if you come in and you're really struggling, that's all right. I want to be able to kind of understand what's going on in your life and
Mhm.
be able to kind of help you with what's going on in that moment.
Yeah, I think that's great. What tends to come up, and I don't know if you're noticing this too, is sometimes people will feel sort of bad about where they're at.
Mhm.
And the reality is that sometimes we have these ups and downs, and we might be in more of a low motivation, low movement, or, if somebody is depressed, they're not going to be ready to do like a marathon tomorrow, right? So, meeting somebody where they're at, I think, is so important, and just acknowledging that we can't just go from A to Z. We have to go to A to B, and
Mhm.
maybe A and then a little bit more, So I think that part's really important, and just being in that non-judgmental environment really helps somebody to move to that next level, to that next step.
Yeah, and I think along with that, sometimes like just teaching some of that compassion as well, because I know a lot of people are very critical on themselves, and
Mhm.
like you were saying, it can be a big journey um, to begin, and just having someone there to be empathetic and to provide that validation can be really helpful.
Right, right. All right. So next question. So are you more directive, more guiding? What's kind of your style?
Um, I would say I'm more guiding. I mean, I do assign homework and things like that for patients to work on outside of treatment. But in
Mhm.
general, my approach is to allow the client to make decisions for themselves, but to provide suggestions and to ask questions so that they can start to think about things for themselves and really
Mhm.
be their own therapist eventually.
Mhm. I think that's a great goal, right? Sometimes what some clients will say is, I was hearing you today in my mind. And I always think that's such a good sign that they're going in the right direction, because uh, there is that part of them now that's going to help guide them through tough situations and is going to be there even when you're not in therapy anymore. So that's a great goal.
Yeah, definitely. I think that that is a really good sign. And when people start to think for themselves and realize, hey, that I can have some control over my thoughts and my behaviors and things
Yeah.
like that, I can make some big changes.
Yeah, and challenging yourself in that moment, challenging some
Mhm.
of those thoughts that can be it can be pretty daunting and pretty, I think what's the word of kind of pushing us down sometimes when some of those thoughts get, either too much or too
Mhm.
dark. And so having that part of us that says, okay, is that accurate? Can we challenge it anyway? What would a friend say to you? And that can
Mhm.
get the client out of that moment, which is, I think, wonderful. All right, so we can go on to the next one.
Yeah.
All right. So, what are your strengths as a therapist?
Yeah. So I think, first and foremost, I think that one of my strengths is that I'm approachable. So I think people can feel comfortable coming up to me and greeting me, asking me questions and things like that without worrying about um, how I would react or anything. So I think people can feel comfortable really easily working with me. Um, And then on top of that, I have experience working, practicing meditation. So, mindfulness meditation, I have a history of engaging in the practice myself and studying it, and then also helping other people learn how to practice.
Yeah, that's so great. That's such a great added tool. Not only just preaching, right, and teaching, but actually doing that work yourself. I think that's awesome. So somebody could come in and want to use some of those techniques in order to help with anxiety, help with stress. Even what I'm hearing a lot from clients, and you're probably experiencing this too in sessions, is that they're feeling like they wish that they were somewhere else, or let's speed this thing up so that I can get to what I need to do or what I want to do. And so mindfulness, right, can help a lot with that, being present and being in the moment and not
Mhm.
wishing away that time that we're actually there.
Yeah. Yeah. And personally, I think it's something that everyone can really benefit from and that it does take
Mhm.
practice. So
Yeah.
it's just a matter of being open minded and willing to give it a try. And yeah, sometimes staying in the moment is really helpful, even when it's uncomfortable.
Yeah. All right. So, what can a client expect after seeing you? So, when they leave a session or when they leave therapy or even in the middle of therapy, what could be some of their expectations?
Yeah, I mean, this is a really good question. I think there's a lot of different things that they can expect to see. First and foremost, I think just feeling more confident in their ability to manage anxiety and maybe their depression in their everyday life. So if they do notice it creeping in, being able to kind of respond to it in a way that actually improves how they're feeling. So they feel like they have some self-control and that they can actually make a difference in the way they're feeling and functioning in their everyday life. So
Mhm.
maybe seeing some changes to the things that they're doing on a day-to-day basis. Maybe they're doing more things that they enjoy, maybe more things that need to get done on a routine basis, or even clear values in their life.
Yeah. Yeah, those are great. I think those are great expectations, and anyone would be lucky to have that after, seeing you, right? Of some of the symptoms of anxiety or depression would lessen, but I think even more importantly, people gaining confidence and doing what they want to do with the rest of their life or in the next year of this is my goal and I'm going to work with Calvin and actually achieve it, which is pretty amazing.
Hmm.
So, Calvin, thank you so much for meeting with me today. If anybody wants to make an appointment with Calvin, you can go right to our site at choresideTherapies.com. I'll put your information, Calvin, right here in the chat. So if somebody wants to reach out to you that way, they can as well through phone, texting, or email, whatever is easiest for you. So thanks
Okay.
again, Calvin.
Awesome. Great. Thank you so much, Lori.
Yeah.